Hey everybody, you're listening to A to Z, episode 33. Today's guest is Silas Feemster, local traditional blues musician.
It's like they're trying to be too meta.
You're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
You can buy you a drink.
Well, I mean, he did pick out somebody we know.
Will you sidestep the question? That technology does not exist.
Hey, everybody, what's up? I'm Zach, and I'm here with Aaron.
Hey, what it do?
Welcome to A to Z. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking us out.
A to Z is produced sort of weekly, and show notes can be found at atozpodcast.com. If you like what you hear, feel free to hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or pretty much anywhere.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at A2ZBMT, where you can find updates, clips, and extra content. Also, make sure to check out the groups that we have. We got A to Z Movie Night, The Groupening, which is going to be dedicated to movie night stuff, which is a lot raunchier than our normal A to Z podcast group.
So, fair warning.
Yeah, fair warning there. We do not hold hands. Aaron, today we have Silas Feemster. I really liked this episode. It was a fun interview.
I do too. It was a great interview, not only because Feemster's a great friend of ours too, and we kind of get into some of the beginnings of our friendship, and like when you and I lived together, and he was over at the garage, the haunted garage sagas, but also just kind of music in this area in general, blues, his transition to now he's like doing a lot of recording stuff.
And techniques of playing and just all the different weird stuff that Zach is into.
Yeah.
But we also, on this one's going to be a little special, we're going to play a bunch of music from bands that Zach has been in. We're going to kick it off with a Burn Pile tune. We'll probably put an Amorous tune in the middle, and then at the end we're going to have one of his newer releases from his blues style.
Right, and that just goes to show you like how many things he's done.
Yeah,
really, that's why I really like this episode.
Feemster's cool, man. We get to talk about ghosts and all this crazy stuff. But in the meantime, if you like what you hear, subscribe, leave reviews and comments.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe. We want to hear your feedback. Tell your friends, and go talk to us on the movie groups and the other podcast groups that we have. And enjoy this episode with Silas Feemster. And you run power to it, and it'll power speakers. It's a little thingy how to wait. I've been thinking about taking those and then gutting and putting in a nicer speaker with the Bluetooth and with the little power amp, and then you'd have this vintage-looking Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
That'd be a fun little project.
Yeah, I got the parts for it. I just haven't found. It's hard to find Bakelite because it's like collectible now.
I know those little French radios that I was talking about are kind of expensive.
Feemster. Let me get that mic. You can pull it to you, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
How's that?
That sounds good.
I think you got the most comfortable chair in the...
Yeah, mine's actually pretty uncomfortable because I have like this little area where my legs go.
Yeah, we need to work on that. Well, welcome to A to Z Podcast, everybody. I'm here with Aaron, and we have a good guest today, Mr. Silas Feemster.
An old
Zach
friend,
Feemster.
an old buddy.
Yes, sir, Bobby.
You go by a couple of names. Is that your stage name, is Silas Feemster?
It's pretty much. It looks good on it, but it's also my real middle name.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You've never seen that?
I'm pretty sure I have.
I'm pretty sure you had to. It's on my driver's license.
I mean, I've seen it too, but a lot of times people use their nickname as their middle name, and then reversible. So sometimes people use their middle name as their nickname.
Yeah, because my middle name is Alan, and I don't have anything like that.
Yeah, Zachary Silas Feemster. That's me, man. Even people think Feemster's made up.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had people ask that before too. I'm like,
I don't want to tell you, man. I don't want to tell you it's my name. Yeah.
But Feemster he's a local musician, blues musician. That's how you're most well known at this point, I'd say, right?
Blues, rock. You've been in all kinds of projects and bands over there.
You were in the Amorous way back in the day.
Yeah, a long time ago, man. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I've been in bands since I was like 14 or 15 years old.
I saw a picture on Facebook just yesterday that was like one of those the memory pictures where it brings up something back in the day, and it said on this day 8 years ago, and had you and like Pug and some other people.
We were playing.
I had no idea what that was.
We were playing at Madison's, I think.
That must have been before Pug moved to Nashville and all that.
No, I think this was like right when he just first came back.
Really?
Yeah, because that was a while back. Because I met Pug at the school in Lamar, Port Arthur.
Really? See, I only known Pug now for like 2 years.
And
or
that
something.
was a long time ago. That was 2010, 2011. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You guys haven't aged. That was the weird thing.
y'all two stayed looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
y'all look younger now than you did 8 years ago.
I don't know. He's got some gray hairs coming in.
Oh, I got a lot. Yeah, I got a lot of grades.
He's looking seasoned.
I am yeah.
I think y'all
That's
have
a
found
good way to
some
put it.
voodoo magic or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hoodoo magic.
yeah.
Some of that. Yeah, he's a hoodoo man. So what are you doing now? You started working for Zito again?
Yeah, started working for Zito again in his little project studio and doing that whole thing and still hustling and, same old bull.
So you've been recording, was it a space out in Nederland?
Yeah, there's a little spot that he has and we go out there and, man, he's got all kinds of people coming in that he produces.
So he's sending people there.
Well,
He's on the road, you're
hit right. I kind of like book around him for my own stuff, but he has stuff that he comes in like that his record label, sends over here, or like they work out a deal and he produces a record. I just punch all the buttons and hook it up.
He's been playing a producer role then.
Yeah, he does a lot. Just like walking around the room, scratching his chin and. Hit the button, man.
That's it. So you've been doing all that work for him. You've also been doing work for yourself because I found that.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff for myself. Just like in my own spare time.
I know you did the Ron Jeremy's CD.
Yeah, I did. We found that.
That's right. Is it that's coming out soon, or is
we did one of them.
Mixing it?
We did one of them, and they already had their release party. I think this is a couple months ago because we started on that project. I think early in like January. Well. They released this one. We just recorded another one, so I think we're gonna kind of split them up. And I just started it.
Songs or
we did 8 songs for them.
records? Like so you're doing another record for them?
I think they're gonna split this up though. I think we're gonna do like 2 at a time. But
not just knock it all out in one run.
Right.
See how it goes.
It's a different time now. People don't really buy records anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had this conversation with a lot of friends and. Nobody wants to like pour their heart and soul into 12-song disc anymore unless you're just like a huge fan. And people just have shorter attention spans, man. It's like
people buy songs now. They don't buy They don't buy albums.
So like if you have like you still gotta. It's nice to have it on some form of a medium, I guess. But digital, it's like, man. Everybody listens to music on their phones and their computers and yada yada. So.
We were talking to I think Garrett Lindsay. You know Garrett?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we were talking to him on one episode, and I think we mentioned Ramblin' Boys. And Ramblin' Boys at the beginning of the year, they had all these tracks that they had sitting around, and they just said, "Fuck it, we'll release them once a week." Or I think it was once every couple of weeks. I saw James the other day.
Yeah, that's right. That's a pretty cool way to do it too.
And they put them out in a row, and then I think they put out the collection of them.
And
sure. Like that seems like a better way to go instead of just the album drops on Tuesday. Dropping
absolutely.
a song every Tuesday, and then at the end of that run, you can buy the LP at our show, or
Super rad.
For sure.
the cassette at our show. You can get the memorabilia that's a collection of all those songs.
Oh man, if I would have known, I would have brought y'all some cassettes up here, man.
Oh no, yeah, we should. We
need
get
them.
something.
Aaron's got his shirt on, man. I see that
sure
burn
do,
pile.
yeah.
So Zebo had his. I never even saw the muscle shirts.
I just made this one, so
Oh, that's awesome.
that
I saw the baseball shirts.
for that show they did at Thirsties.
This is another band that Feemster was in. If you don't know, Burn Pile with Kevin Cosman.
Yeah, and Kevin asked me to. He was like,
two-piece.
"Hey, dog, man, you make them shirts?" I was like, "Yeah, I can make them. Just let me get a couple of pictures." And I got pictures made like a kind of a cool little outline pattern. Yeah,
I have a baseball tee.
They bought the baseball tees, but while I already had like the screen up,
You're making.
I just made one for I had this
Did
laying
you
around.
print one on the back of something?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It was like a weird shirt that had something on it too.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's cool. I like. It seems like I thought the other one had the Black Sabbath logo. Or I thought we had one of them that had like a Black Sabbath Volume 4 style logo on. I was like, yes.
Oh, like this?
Yes.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I probably didn't make
so
that
rad.
one. I don't think I made that one.
Oh, man. I think...
The ones I made lasted. I know that, though. They last over the
dude,
washes.
it looks
I mean,
good.
This is held up. Yeah.
They definitely have lasted compared to I've gotten some other screen printed shirts just throughout the years,
And they like wash away.
It always flakes off. But so you've been recording around Jeremy's. Is there anybody?
Yeah,
else
I just did another one. There's a fella. The last project I did, there's a fella named Shelby Thibodeau. I did one for him.
Yeah, Shelby. He used to play with Champagne Room, right?
Yep.
He used to sing for him.
Did one for him. Before them, Zito's drummer and bass player. They have another band in Houston. Did a couple things for them. They have a bunch of different blues people that they play with. Before that was the first Ron Jeremy session. So, I mean, it's been keeping me busy. I'll do stuff. Mike Zito, man, we did that record in his, and that was like the second one that we did.
Is it like a
the first one that we did?
Studio, or?
It's. I mean, we have like a digital rig,
It's decent,
but we have it set up.
Yeah,
and the first one we did was for a fella named Freddie Pate. He is the guitar player for Wayne Toops.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the second one we did, like in November, was Zito's record. Man, that record that we did in that
So
space.
Zito's new record was recorded in Nederland?
Yeah, that record's #1 right now on the Roots Billboard music charts.
Does he let you play on it? You play on it a little bit?
Oh, I didn't play on any of it. I just engineered the whole thing. I didn't mix that one. The guy that mixed this one is his name is David Z. This guy's brother was the drummer for Prince and the Revolution.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man, like crazy, and it sounds insanely good.
But what's cool about that is, so you didn't play on that, but you engineered it. So if that thing comes up, if it comes up for a Grammy,
well,
and
check
wins
it
a
out.
Grammy,
You have to have, exactly. But I have to have 5 all music credits, and I just got it off of this one. So technically, if he does win a Grammy, I win a Grammy.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
I hope it
Man,
does.
a lot of that he's always so busy and just always on tour and killing it.
Yeah.
And it's really paid off for him. Like I said, that guy has been a mentor to me for a long time.
Oh, dude, I got a big shout out to Zito, because whenever Harvey hit, he was doing that musicians fun thing.
Oh yeah,
And I asked him if engineers were musicians too. And he said absolutely, and he said, and he got that organization to send me a check and like really helped me out.
That's awesome.
So like that, then that meant a lot. Coming, a musician appreciating an engineer is kind of a.
Well, it's crazy, man. Like
that's pretty stand up.
I guess he's. Like I said, he's always, had my back and just always been a really good friend.
You toured with him.
Yeah, I toured with him about 2 years.
Well, we were going
on
to
the
get
road with him.
to how we met, because we've known each other for a long time, like talking about the Lamar Port Arthur days and everything. And we met at the Jam Rooms, I want to say, right?
Yes, because I had a room, and I think Taylor Busby was next door, and I was just walked in one day and saw y'all and just started chit-chatting with y'all, man. And I think been friends after, happily ever after.
I think you, before we'd have formally met, I think you had ignored me at Guitar and Banjo at least a couple of times.
No, I didn't. What are you talking about?
You probably thought you just wanted him to change your strings for you.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, I can tell this guy's coming in, he don't know nothing.
But yeah, so we met at the Jam Rooms, but then not before too long. I think at the time I had just started running sound at the Log On.
Log On, yeah.
You started coming up for God knows what, probably open mic.
Yeah, probably.
You had been. I mean, what was going on at that time? Like, I think you had just gotten done with Amherst.
Yeah, because I think whenever the Amherst was pretty much done whenever I got like really sick, and came down with all this wild shit. Because at that time, I had ulcerative colitis. I still have that, but management and all that. I had that. I had pancreatitis, and I had gallstones.
Jesus.
Yeah, so like
I knew you were sick. I didn't know exactly.
I weighed 97 pounds.
So like all of your insides were just like trying to murder you.
Pretty much, yeah. There was 2 times where I thought I was about like done. I weighed 97 pounds when it was just like the worst of it. You know what I mean?
Well, ulcerative colitis makes you not want to ever eat. You're just like, man, I don't want to put anything in this.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, man. It was but you learn how to like manage, it'll tear you up, but
So you had to change your diet up, and
I had to do all kinds of stuff different, and man, it was definitely tough. But after that whole thing, that's when that's when I started playing for Zito.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met Zebo.
Yeah.
Zebo and Zito, man, my 2 homies.
Yeah, and that's how I met you. You were coming over to the White House when a long time ago when me and Zach lived together.
Because
at the
I
White
was,
House, yeah.
if I was ever at Guitar and Banjo, I remember, right over there, just across the street.
it was right around the corner.
Because if you weren't on the road, you were at Guitar and Banjo.
Well, it's so crazy too, man. You guys would just like leave the door unlocked, and I just go like make noise.
That's how it
for
was
the
back in the
longest
day.
time.
Yeah, we
I love
had
it.
kind of an
we had
open
a-
door garage door policy.
We had like a
yeah.
second that detached garage with the door always open, and I remember
We're like, sure, go sweat.
I would go to bed early that night, and I'd wake up at like 2 or 3 to get some water, and I could hear you in there playing, just randomly, just at odd hours. And
I actually really miss living in that place. It was kind of nice. It was cool having that open door policy with friends coming in and out.
Yeah, in the huge backyard. And
But yeah,
slipping
you'd go in there and play. You recorded one time a ghost.
Yes, I wish I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
And now that y'all mentioned that, and I was just
You
like,
gotta look for it.
yeah. Well, I can remember it like it was yesterday, man.
I can too. Yeah.
Like I remember having that and hearing somebody clap in the background because on the paranormal thing, man. That type of stuff has always interested me, and it seems like I have grew up my whole life seeing that kind of stuff. Like I naturally am drawn to that kind of thing, man.
What was your first ghost experience?
First ghost experience I ever had, I was probably maybe 11 or 12, and I remember having this punching bag. And one day, I remember before I was about to go to school, seems like, and I just heard it started swinging on the chain. Yeah, man.
Like slightly.
No, more than slightly.
Okay. Yeah.
Like after I if I were to walk by and just move it, maybe not punch it, but
Right,
just kind of
kind of like how an empty swing set kind of does in the wind. Yeah.
man, because it was a heavy bag, man, and
It's not moving.
and it was just like, and I didn't know what to do, and I just kind of like, because it made like the hair. I remember the hair standing up on my arms. Yeah, like I remember that like it was yesterday, man. What's crazy though is like, where I grew up at, that house where my parents, my folks are from, before that it was a farm. It was my great-grandfather's farm, and he died out there, I've seen his ghost. That was the first full, and I think
You saw your grandfather's ghost?
great-grandfather. I've seen my grandfather too, but
Was it kind of one of those things where you saw the ghost and then you saw like an old picture?
that's
And you're like,
the
oh
two,
my God, that's
two stories. Check
That's my great-grandpappy. I seen him.
dude. When I saw this man, I saw his name was Ferdinand. And I saw Ferdinand. It was I came home at like 2:00 in the morning or so, and I was taking a leak, about to go to bed, and I remember looking up and seeing somebody standing there, and it was so fast, but I could like see through this guy.
Like he was
yellow,
Yeah.
but I could see what he was wearing. He was wearing a white V-neck shirt. He had big horn rim glasses and he had a big straw hat and overalls.
Well, that's a pretty.
It was. I saw him right in front of me.
Yeah, but that's a pretty distinct depiction.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That was him. That was the guy that owned the farm or whatever. That was Ferdinand, man.
Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Ferdinand first tilled the fields out there.
Yeah, man. He
turned this from a swamp into a farm.
Where did your family get all these awesome names? Did you
Man,
have a grandmother named Opal?
Yes, that's my mom's mom. Opal and Norbith were
Norbith?
Yeah.
Opal, Ferdinand.
I like that.
Silas.
Yeah.
Ferdinand was Opal's dad.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the paranormal seems to follow you around. So in the garage in the White House, you'd be playing and you.
Oh, you could see
and
stuff.
You captured it. You captured it. I remember.
I've seen stuff out. I remember seeing stuff out of the corner of my eye. Just sitting in that room
in that garage. Yeah, and you captured it on audio, where you put the phone down, and the phone you were recording was across the room, like on a.
It was a couple feet away.
And it was like on a bass trap or
I
something.
don't know why.
Yeah.
I have a very vivid recollection of all that.
Because I remember you showing Zach, and Zach being like, "Man, this is creepy," and then you showed me, and I was like, "Yeah, I can hear it too."
What's crazy too, I remember I have a tape recorder, like a little Tascam 4-track cassette recorder, right? And when we lived at the compound, I think this was probably before, maybe Johnny and Megan moved in, but I would always do my, just put a mic up and just start singing and hit go on the tape recorder.
That's right. You got some really interesting recordings out of that time period because the cinder block walls. Then you built all those panels, and it got even more different. You could balance the verb.
I would hear somebody talking in the headphones. You know what I mean? Like on the tape recorder when I plug my headphones into it, you could hear.
And when you first moved into the compound, there was me
and
it was you and Erie, I think, right?
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it.
It was like completely empty. And for anybody who doesn't know what the compound is, it's a very small condo building with 8 condos.
I think it was originally called St. Tropez.
St. Tropez.
It was like probably built maybe, I guess,
Deacon Jones,
50 or the 60s.
I think it was built in the 60s or something.
Yeah, the architecture, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
St. Tropez.
Silas moved in there, and then...
a little history lesson for you guys on the compound.
This is kind of what started a lot of things that we've been doing in Beaumont for like the last 6 years.
It's kind of a legacy thing.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. All kinds of like great ideas and times have happened in that place.
Absolutely.
I think the guy that had the place before me, like I think he may have died in the one that I had because I got the.
That's right.
And it was very, very spooky in there sometimes.
Monica and John Cobb said they used to party in
there.
I've met a lot of random people who said that they used to party there.
Like, and that was where shit went wild.
And the only time I've ever met somebody who said they used to live there, whenever they said they used to live there, they say they lived in yours. They were like, I was at the front, the furthest to the left. So it's weird how that is. And then after you moved out, Evan, New, and Simon moved in.
Mm-hmm.
And they also said they experienced like the same ghosts. Like they would cleanse the house in sage and stuff like that.
I shared a wall with that place, and it was always kind of creepy.
I've never experienced anything in mine.
It had like a little bit of a...
Because every time, like I said, I would, it just makes the hair stand up. I would hear people through the headphones, just all kinds of crazy stuff, man. But even in the jam room, I mean, it's the same way. Like in our jam room downtown, man, I can be the only person in that place at a random time, night or day, and sometimes you just get this strange feeling. You can hear music really faintly. You can hear people walking around.
I mean, it is a jam room.
Well, there's nobody there. There's a giant ballroom on.
Yeah, it wouldn't be faint.
There's like faint music.
Wasn't it like a Navy?
It was called the Navy Club or something like that. Downtown Navy Club or something. Oh man, it's painted on the backdrop. Like they have the giant stage on the ballroom, and it's like so old. It's got the bulb screw ends in the front. Like
the footlights.
Right. They don't use it. I mean, like I said, this place, like we've always had the conversations about the tunnels in Beaumont.
Have you ever been down those tunnels?
I've never been down it, but
because there's an access point in there.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
There was one.
Well, it's funny that you say they connect all the different places.
Yes.
Because me and Feemster, we actually went to Dixie. You remember that?
Yeah.
It connects Dixie to the.
We recorded in Dixie one like Sunday or Monday night, and tried to catch the ghost there. But I mean, I was recording him.
Those giant pictures of the ladies, those Phil watching those things like watch you like super creepy. Like they're beautiful pieces of artwork, man, but they just like have eyes.
Oh yeah,
and it is creepy.
We should go to the tunnels, man. We should do it,
dude. There's
I've been
3
in it because
points.
I've had to do the systems in there before.
Well, there was a wine cellar sized door at the one that. The jam room we had.
There's a door on the floor, right?
There's 3 of them. There's the one.
There's one in yours.
There is one in ours now. There's one we used to have, the biggest door. It is like a wine cellar sized door.
Wow.
Like.
Well, what can you see in there? Is it actually?
Oh, I haven't, even thought about pulling up carpet and digging all that shit out, man. I'm too busy trying to play some guitar.
Yeah.
I got you.
But it is fun to think about,
Oh, there's so much.
I would think if Beaumont like opened something like that, if they had like somebody,
an attraction?
Yeah, dude, that would like.
I bet, dude, we've been saying it for years.
So
we
awesome.
have been, yeah. Well, we need to get the
old folks out.
The brothels, the
That's
booze
what I
and
think.
Brothels, and we need to get involved in that and like do like old tours.
I'm talking to like do tourism of the corruption of Beaumont.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
Beaumont
sure
wild
that's
again.
that's one reason those trapdoors are in that building. So if anybody's in there doing anything they ain't supposed to, they have a way to get out.
Duck
I mean,
down.
that's why there's a tunnel from like the courthouse to like where there used to be a whorehouse. It would connect them.
And then they're also connected to the theaters.
Now I can't be having my constituents see me coming
I've
up in
heard
here.
all these things, and I've heard
help.
it said for a while, but I've never had anybody actually tell me otherwise. So if anybody listens to this and the real, if that's not the case, please
Correct. 'Cause we don't know nothing.
Because I would love for it to be true, but if it's not all true, but I do believe there's probably some kind of ghost out there, though.
Yeah, see, that's the interesting thing about, like you and I've never experienced any of this stuff. Like, I still live in the compound, and I have one address separating mine from yours, right? So it's like one wall, and then another wall, and then you're in
Ghosts
mine.
don't care about numbers,
and they don't. Well, I've never experienced any freakiness for the 4 years in mine at all. Like it just stays there in yours. Maybe it follows you around or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Yeah.
That hoodoo magic is a real thing.
It
dude.
is, dude.
I've been worried about ghosts.
I'm
here.
very superstitious.
You're worried about ghosts here in the new studio?
Kind of, yeah. Because I'm sitting here by myself a lot, and I'll have my headphones on, and then I'll hear like a bump, and it's like. But
Who's
then
that?
again, there's a bar below us, so it's.
Yeah.
I get freaked out.
I think the photograph that you were talking about, I was living, I think maybe in Austin or something at the time, at whatever time I was up there. What was the first big hurricane? Katrina?
Here, Katrina, Rita.
Well, Rita here, but
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like
Maybe
they were
it
like
was
3 weeks apart, yeah.
Maybe it might have been Katrina or Rita.
it wasn't Ike. That was before that.
Yeah.
Ike was in 2008 and Katrina Rita was in
Whatever
2005.
we had, whichever, it was a hurricane, and man, there's a lot of construction at that house, and so we pulled up a bunch of wet carpet,
Yeah.
took photos of it, to send, I guess
To send the adjuster or
Right.
something,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
And send 'em a
we
sample.
we turned the photos, just a specific one. Well, we cropped it and then enlarged it, and because it looked like there was a face in the concrete. Well, there was definitely a face in the concrete, and it was Norbith.
It was straw hat, horn rim glasses.
This is the guy that
No,
married.
that was
Norbert.
That was Ferdinand.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Ferdinand. You're right.
This is
I
like
pay
the
attention.
guy that married his daughter,
Okay, yeah.
my grandfather.
Scoundrel.
Yeah.
It's Norbert.
But you could see like it was him as a ghost, like in the concrete, like it just made this pattern, and you could see a face, and it looked like a ghost.
It looked like a familiar face.
It looked like Norbith in his picture from the Navy, like when he was in the Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like the part in his hair on the eye sockets of his eyes, like there was no eyes, but he had this grin. You could see the sockets
the
and the
facial
cheeks.
geometry.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the part in his hair and the smile on his face, and it was insane. Like I still have that picture too. It's somewhere, man. I'll have to find it. It's a few people have seen it. I've got a copy of it somewhere. It's pretty wild.
That is wild. I just, ghosts, man. I don't like to think about them. I always felt like if you think about it so much, it'll start happening.
Oh yeah, I think.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
If you
kinda
can make your
psych
mind
yourself up.
believe anything, think you can manifest.
if you acknowledge it, yeah.
stuff. Oh, absolutely.
It's really this. I think it's it's the psyching yourself up and getting.
I haven't experienced anything like that since I was a kid. My uncle that we used to go and visit every year, probably like twice a year in Fort Smith, Arkansas. He used to have this really old house that was like 110 years old, and everyone in the family would tell me about how it was haunted, like all that stuff. You know what I mean? And made me believe it. I felt it. I felt like that weird sort of energy around, and it would freak me the hell out. My older brother he was 18. He told me that he got like accosted by one of the ghosts in his room. It just. I wouldn't be able to sleep and all that, but since then I haven't seen anything. I don't know. I believed it then.
Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to think. I've always believed in like superstitious stuff too, and ghosts and all
Yeah.
that. I had
Salt over your shoulder.
well, my birthday is 7/13.
Is that like a numerology?
Oh
thing?
yeah, I definitely believe in numbers too. Well, I mean 7 and 13. I don't think. I
When
think
was the last
that's.
time your birthday was on a Friday the 13th?
It's been a while. It'll be on this year too.
Oh.
I think it is on Friday the 13th this year.
Shit.
Dope.
Yeah, look at that.
So numbers, I think numbers put the universe together.
Well, there's
you know?
something. I mean,
Like,
there's something to it. Ancient Hebrew, the language is based on numbers. You know,
Right.
it's just it's something that we gravitate to as humans. So there's definitely, and there's an argument. There's an argument to be made because whether something's real naturally or not. Well, of course, numbers aren't like real. We made numbers,
Right.
But if they affect us in a way, like if we take in numbers, then that makes them
We
real.
assign
Yeah,
importance,
I-
assign
right.
importance
If
to
we
it.
assign
Absolutely.
importance,
Oh, yeah.
then that means it. That makes it real.
the number
So,
13,
yeah.
the
'Cause
number,
it-
I'll
then
always
we
see the number
we
13.
React. We react according to stuff. So it's just as real as anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't understand 7. What's the significance of that?
7's a lucky number, man.
Oh yes, yeah, lucky and unlucky. Look at that. You got like a duality going on.
Absolutely.
Duality. Well,
Yeah.
let's that we do a duality style format, and we're going to take our first break and then come back.
Look at that. Look at that segue.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp ass.
Looks good.
All right, guys, and we are at our mid break, and we're going to take this as a special opportunity to thank our coffee sponsor.
Yeah, Seaport Coffee is our official coffee provider of A to Z podcast.
I'd like to say probably seasoning provider as well.
Yeah, we'll throw that one in there for freezies. You know, Text Joy. No matter what you're doing, if you want some steak seasoning or if you want a nice bold coffee, that's your people to go to. And they're
Texas
local.
Coffee Company.
They've been here in Beaumont since 1922, and they've been around the block. And
You can
trust
listen
them.
back to one of the sons of the founders, Greg
That's
Buscemi
it.
Sr. His episode is I think 16 or something like that.
We kind of talk a little bit about him roasting
Yeah.
coffee too. So
So
yeah,
you can hear from the man who roasted your beans, and you can go pick them up at HEB and Market Basket.
yeah, everywhere
everywhere
around here.
around here.
And they also have gift set. I gotta send one of those. Those like they have like a Texas shaped box with all the seasoning and stuff. And I have
Yeah, we're gonna try to give that away.
I have to send it to my brother in North Carolina.
Oh, we should
So-
try to give one of those away too.
We should. That would be dope. All right. Well, let's get back to our episode with Zach Feemster. That was a fun, crazy time whenever we had that party at my place, and you and Kevin played in the carport.
Oh, man, we played under the carport.
Was
yeah,
that the
man.
night that Lance got?
Yeah,
Tattooed.
Lance got his
I don't know if
tattoo
we- can
in
we-
the carport
can
while
we
they
say
were
that?
playing. Yeah, hell yeah, we can say it. We're not going to say who did it, I guess. Maybe we'll just leave that out. But
Right. Yeah, he got. It was done professionally.
yeah, it was definitely
It wasn't a scratch.
sanitary. Yeah,
It didn't get infected or anything.
that was a fun time. We're kind of boring now, though. We don't do fun stuff.
Yeah.
I think all of us are pretty boring.
I can
We
totally
need to
agree.
shake it up,
Very-
man. We
very
need, to get, we
boring.
need to get back to making Beaumont wild again. I don't know how we're going to do it,
Got
but
pretty wild.
Well, everybody who would make it wild is tired now.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
that.
we're all over 30 and we're all fucking tired.
Yeah.
But you still play around town quite a bit, and I see you in Thirsties once a month. It feels like
Yeah.
you just told us during the break that you play Greenlight
Yeah,
now.
green light too. I mean, anywhere that's willing to have me, I guess. But what's crazy though, man? I've recently, sometimes I'll get like these Lamar gigs, and we've been I've the Amherst. It seems like we played a couple like Lamar gigs back in the day, but I'll play like lectures. I played a lecture.
What? You played a lecture?
How does that
Yeah.
even work?
Like you opened for the lecturer?
Yeah, I did a couple songs before the lecture and played guitar through it. Just kind of.
Oh yeah, I think you told me about this.
I've done stuff like that.
What was the lecture over?
Just like Beaumont, kind of like
History.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you played along with like a historical presentation.
Somebody heard your music and thought it sounded real roots, real bluesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would figure that you would get reached out.
It was
to
it was
a
a it was
lot.
it was a Keith Carter lecture.
Oh,
Well,
very
we're
cool.
actually we're I think I'm going to send an email to him today.
Yeah, he had one,
We're
man.
reaching out to get
I
him
did
on.
that a couple times, man. It was really cool to see like a bunch of photographs, man, that I've never seen that he took, and just stuff.
Well, no,
I mean,
your
like, it
music
was
would
really
match
cool.
up with
was a
what
lot of
he
fun.
does.
It was a lot of fun.
I think so, yeah.
Does that happen a lot with the? I mean, because you play, you're. I've always described you as not obsessive, but like you're like a tone hound. Like you're. Always,
yeah,
You're always
very true.
looking for the right sound, especially whenever it comes to traditional blues.
Yeah, it's tough
Because
it's tough
you-
to replicate that stuff amplified,
Right.
loud.
Because every time I remember, whenever you were really like kicking it off back in the day, you would show me like all these. it's not even different licks that these different musicians would play, but it was also the way they held the guitar.
Yeah.
And also the way that they picked and the way they held the pick, and you'd figure all these things out. I don't know how. I
think the last coolest thing, I mean, I'm a tone hound for sure, and just it's tough to, I want to duplicate that sound, and I just fail until I can make it sound right. What's crazy though, like there's a certain number of blues artists that I like that have this certain vibrato, right? Like on their slide tunes, and I'm like, man, how are they getting this sound? They have this certain feel, and I think what it boils down to is I think all these guys that played their slide tunes, they played it with a knife or a pocket knife.
What do you think they would hold? Because how the weight is?
Right. Like, and they would hold it this way, or, most of them I've seen, they would hold it just straight and play it like this, and it makes that vibrato. That's how they would shake the slide. Instead of doing it like this, they would shake it and rotate their whole fist to get this sound. And I think that's what's giving it that sound,
the pitch
because
is kinda...
it's wider. It's hard to explain, man. It just has this crazy thing.
Because the top strings are going to be going more out of pitch than the bottoms.
I think that's how they were doing it. I found this thing on like I think it was a Facebook ad, and it was like for a slide. I was like, that is cool, and it's a slide that looks it's shaped like a knife, and it has this cutout where you place it kind of in between your finger, and you can kind of play it like that. If you ever saw like Sidell Davis play guitar, he played with a butter knife, but he played overhanded like this, but it looks like a knife, but you can play with it underhanded, like traditional bottleneck style. Thought it was cool as hell. I bought one. It has that sound. It's tough, man. It hurts your arm in a different place. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, your
and I'm used to playing it this way, but having to hold that knife, man. But it's got a cool sound to it.
Yeah. So this is the newest thing you've been working on?
Well, like I'll always go back to bottleneck, but it does sound cool. I'm just kind of always lean more towards bottleneck and stuff like that. But it's cool to have it.
So whenever you're looking for things like that and you prefer bottleneck, you say, like, are you doing that so that whenever you interpret their songs that you can do it accurately? Or are you trying to find your own? I want to find my own. Do you incorporate all those things?
Absolutely. I just kind of take and borrow a little bit. Like what's crazy, I like to believe, about 4 years ago, I went and found, I had this gig in Dallas. I won this contest or this submission on Reverb Nation 1 year, okay? And I ended up going to play in Austin, and it was between me and this girl that won this contest. And I ended up coming...
The blues contest?
Yes. I actually ended up coming in... a singer-songwriter sort of thing, I ended up coming in second place, but the second place winner, I got 2 awesome gigs, and I got paid $2,000. They flew me out to my gigs. I mean, it was a really cool deal. Yeah. What's crazy now is the girl that won, I mean, she's killing it. She's like all over the place.
What's her name?
Jackie Vincent. She's really good. She's
very
play
like slide.
She plays. I don't know if she plays. I haven't seen a lot of her videos where she's playing slide, but I know she tears ass on guitar. That's Samantha Fish.
Samantha. That's what I was thinking. Samantha.
Her and Zito have the same manager.
That's right. That's what I was thinking
I played gigs with Samantha Fish. Is amazing.
Yeah, she's badass, dude.
Jackie's killer too, man. I mean, but I won this contest, came in second, and I ended up playing, opening up in the little pavilion at a Dave Matthews Band concert and a Zach Brown Band concert.
You opened for Zach Brown, man?
Well, there's the pavilion outside, and there was a stage,
So that's when everybody's coming in.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And they flew me out. One was in Dallas, so when I went to Dallas, I drove instead. They flew me out to North Carolina for the Dave Matthews one.
Yeah.
Right. Drove to Dallas, and I was played the gig, and I was when I was driving home, I was you know what? I'm going to go find Lemon Jefferson's grave. Because he's buried in Wortham, Texas. And I went and veered off and found Wortham, and I went and found
a little pilgrimage.
I did, and I left.
You've done that a couple times, different graves too.
I've seen Blind Willie Johnson's grave here in Lemons. Yeah. I'd like to go find the Lightning Hopkins Monument too in Houston. I bet that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
But I found Lemon right at the right before the sun was coming up, because I left my hotel. I checked out very early. It's just wanted to get out of there. So I could go find it. Found him just before the sun came up, and on his grave it said, one kind favor ask of you, see that my grave is kept clean. So I swept his grave. Obviously, I'm going to clean it up.
Yeah.
And I left a bottleneck. You know, he only had one slide tune, but I wanted to leave him a present. You know what I mean? So I left him a little bottleneck that I'd cut off a wine bottle.
Did you feel like Did you feel a presence?
It felt electrifying.
Yeah.
You know,
Kinda
and to this day,
gave you something.
I just, you know, I guess to subliminally talk to me or give me like some kind of, you know, notion to do it, man, you know, and play it. And I can, like, when I play, you know, his style of guitar, you know, I can make some of his licks sound like Lemon Jefferson. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I'll just make it fail at it until I make it sound right, you know?
Yeah.
But when I found him at the end of the graveyard, man, like I said, it was electrifying.
It took the breath out of you whenever you first see it.
It was awesome. You know, he's got this, you know, big, like, old steel cage. I don't know what they're called, but they...
Like that you put vines on or something?
Yeah.
Oh, like a trellis?
Trellis, yeah.
He has one of those over... I mean, it looks to be 100 years old. You know what I mean? But they changed the cemetery name, too, to Lemon Jefferson Cemetery. Like, I forget when that was changed over. Probably, like, sometime in maybe late 90s or early 2000s. I forget how recent.
Did he die, like, what, in the 40s, 50s?
Let's see.
Oh,
he made records up until 1927, I think, 28. Yeah, it's crazy.
Blind Willie's here, right?
He's not from here, but he died here.
Right.
He died
because I found a historic placard.
He lived in his church, and it was run down, and I think he died of pneumonia.
Is it Gatemouth? That's also
Gatemouth. I thought he was
like orange area.
Yeah, in the orange area. It's where he's buried.
So I mean, we got a pretty good history of that style of music and of people that created it that come out of this area.
Yeah, we got a historic legacy and a modern legacy.
Too bad we don't have like a Johnny Winter statue or something here in Beaumont, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what's crazy?
I was Austin. Come on.
I was driving when I was at Guitar and Banjo one day, and I was driving to go get some lunch, and I was taking the back roads, you know, and I saw this, you know, out of the corner of my eye to the left, I saw this little boy running around his yard. You know, it looks like his mother was, you know, told him to come in from playing or whatever, and he was this albino kid, and he looked just like Johnny Winter. He had long,
just like a little.
He was a little kid. He had long. Well, maybe I say little kid. He's probably made you look like he was about like, I don't know, 10 to 12.
I got you. Yeah.
But he was albino, and he's just real skinny and had long white hair. He looked like a kid Johnny Winter.
I would imagine that Johnny Winter, when he was a kid,
right?
I would imagine when he was a kid, he would have had like a page boy haircut too. I could just like picture it. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
I could picture that and him playing like on a Hammond B3 or something.
What is it about that style of that traditional blues? Why did you become so obsessed with it?
You know, when I was,
because I think you kind of started it with the White House is whenever we brought that up.
Sure, you know, but I've grown up. I think what introduced me to it is my old man. He would put stuff in. And I think when I first heard like Lightning Hopkins, he used to play a lot of his records. You know, some of the Muddy Waters stuff when I was really young. But I mean, we always heard stuff like Bobby Blue Bland and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Lightning was probably the first one that I heard that was just like,
what is this?
Right.
It's like it has that. Most of them, there's that whole thing about how Robert Johnson sped up.
Yes, I believe that.
And it's like that thing that something about that pitch up that they make on a lot of those records.
Well, it would make it more exciting.
It's exciting, but it's also like spooky.
Yeah, it's very spooky.
You know, it gives it.
There's even some. There's some records too where they'll slow them down. You know, there's Blind Blake records and Blind Lemon records that they cut that they sound very slow.
They slowed them down.
Well,
really?
I mean,
it's inconsistent.
It was I guess the speed of the machine. You know, it definitely sounds slow, and that's how it was cut. You know, not like a recording that was cut. You know, pitched too high then slowed down.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded low on the cut. But yeah, I've heard all the RJ stuff slowed down, man. It's really
It's
cool.
interesting to listen to. Have you
It's
ever heard that, Aaron?
What's that? You talking about Robert Johnson?
Slowed down?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they think that, I guess the machine that they recorded him on was like, it ran a little fast or slow, so that whenever you play
So
it...
they try to correct it or something? Or?
No, well, yeah, that's what the Robert Johnson slowed down. You can go on YouTube, and it's like, yeah, they did that. They tried to make they had to make it where it was the right pitch and speed.
I think it's called The True Voice of Robert Johnson or something like that.
And it's really interesting. It's like, it has a really interesting sound. I guess I could probably play.
I thought y'all were going to talk about like some selling your soul to the devil messages or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, that whole thing.
Like, hey man, you ever listen to Robert Johnson backwards?
Yeah.
It's like the true story about the crossroads. That's
Speaking
what
of,
I thought
I was thinking of Crossroads the other day with Steve Vai and
cutting heads.
yeah. Sounds like a guitar, you know.
That sounds real, yeah.
I got to keep moving. I got to keep moving.
That doesn't sound slowed down to me.
That sounds natural.
Yeah, that sounds natural.
So here's the original. Nope, you ain't getting my advertisement.
He ain't advertising on our podcast. Get out of here.
That's the slow one.
No, this is
Yeah.
the original one. The first
Which is
one's
slow.
Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
first one?
I got to keep moving.
Yeah, it's
So
a little
it's like
higher.
higher.
It's a little higher pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that small amount, but that's what they... I mean, you introduced me to it, actually, so...
Yeah.
It's a really strange... I mean, it is... It's weird how these guys were... They were just musicians back in those days, and they had families, all that stuff. They just...
They had a couple of families, probably.
Yeah, well, but it's interesting how, these people, like Robert Johnson was in the 30s,
Yeah.
and they've become mythical.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
proportion. And the sound and the sound of that music is also attributed to that mythical kind of.
It's the bedrock for a lot of rock and roll.
Yeah,
well, but I mean, there
rockin',
was so much. There was so much that goes along with him, but like he was definitely one of them to stand out. And how he got the whole Sell His Soul thing. The original guy to do that was Tommy Johnson. You see, Oh Brother Art Thou. He was.
Right.
They called him Tommy Johnson in the show instead of Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson got the story.
Yeah.
The original guy that. There's
They went
also
to the crossroads,
there,
right?
there is also
the
a
Coen
real
brothers
Tommy.
got their facts together.
There's a real Tommy Johnson. Like that was he was the one who supposedly did it before him. He was the guy that was like going
Brought
around
that idea up.
right. And the guys that did the movie, they took and used Tommy Johnson instead of Robert Johnson.
That's
But
smart.
that's
Yeah.
a true thing.
Sure.
He's the one because I think Tommy Johnson he died pretty early too. He was.
I think everybody died
he
pretty
was-
early back
Well, the
then,
devil
for
done
most part.
collected.
Well, he was a
He didn't
drunk.
die, yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to have done it and been like real proud of it. Like the
Right.
whole, I don't know how it got stuck with Robert Johnson. I guess just because of the last name, but what
Maybe.
through the research I've done, that's
I mean-
that's the story I've heard.
Through the Scott Baio movie, right?
Yeah, Scott Baio movie.
Oh, it's not Scott Baio. It's Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the Karate Kid, the new ones?
Oh, yeah, just awesome. I
God,
heard
it's
it. I
so
loved it.
good.
It was so
seen
good.
it yet.
Oh, it's great.
I was
man.
never big into the karate.
You're
Kid
screwing
either.
up.
What? No,
You're screwing up, Zach.
Every kid nowadays, I think, should be forced to watch the original Karate
I think
Kids
so,
to
too.
learn
Sounds like fascism.
a life
It's not
lesson.
fascism. It's just
got
a
great.
curriculum. It's just a
got
curriculum.
Great life lessons. That like Uncle Buck is
Yeah.
another great
What,
one.
that you can just
love
like come into town, steal people's girl, and like.
Well, that's okay. So all of that, what you're saying right now, they pay all of that off in
I
the
know,
show.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's
I just
awesome.
I need to watch Karate Kid, and then
So you've never seen Karate Kid?
I've seen Karate Kid. I just didn't. That's just.
You just hadn't seen
I
Cobra
just don't
Kai.
really care much about
Cobra
it.
Kai is so hilarious.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
great.
seen any of the sequels either.
It's good.
Well, you don't need to worry about the sequels, really.
What? So the Will Smith kid, that one?
Yeah, I mean that one's actually pretty good, but it's not.
oh yeah,
it's-
first
it's-
two is all you really need to worry
Yeah,
about.
that's it. Yeah,
Well, you said Ralph. What was the guy's name?
Ralph
Was it-
Macchio.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio. But I think the soundtrack to that movie was put together by Ry Cooder.
Nice.
And he.
How the hell do you know that?
Because I love Ry
Yeah,
Cooder.
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, that's what I was getting to. Is Ry Cooder is. He's kind of like what Zach is doing.
Yeah.
But he's more of a, not saying that you're not, because I kind of consider you a historian of that music.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And that's kind of what I was reaching for whenever I was bringing up, because you do a lot of research. You do research into, how they get that sound, all that stuff. It's the same thing as what a historian do. What maybe even Sarah would do. You're looking at old hand accounts. You're talking to people. And Ry Cooder's the guy that put all that together. He is well known as
he was in the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, yeah. He's the same. He is a
phenomenal.
He is a blues guitar historian. All the slide, he's a big slide player. But not a lot of people know about that. I don't. He did the soundtrack for that album, and it's all slide tunes.
So, what's he doing playing Karate Kid? That doesn't.
No, I was talking. That was Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio.
Oh,
yeah,
you're talking about. You're talking about
because he was in that movie.
Yeah.
That movie Crossroads. But yeah, so it's like there is a historian aspect to what you're doing there. And the thing is, it's funny is I don't even think you really think about it.
It's like forensic guitar playing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's
like
totally.
trial and error. Yeah. You're like, let me get this butter knife. All right, cool. Let me try a silver butter knife.
Yeah.
All right, let me try a steel
Absolutely.
one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's
Material
doing
makes
little
material,
experiments. with
materials
little
make a
Venn
big
diagrams.
difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Let me try
I've
this
got a slide
old-timer
coming.
knife.
I've got a slide coming. It's made out of magnesium.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's very light. It's supposed to be lighter than glass and brass.
That's weird.
I found the slide I've been using, Fender actually made it. It's this cheap ass slide, and it only comes in one size and 2 colors, but it was made of cobalt. And it's just got this
They
really
tried making strings out of that.
It's got this really cool dry sound to it, and you can get away with a little bit lower action and tuning your guitar up for an electric guitar, right? It's just got you just instantly sound like R.L. Burnside. It's got this really strange tone to it, and it sounds really cool.
Cobalt. Yeah.
I
think cobalt is different actually. Cobalt and cobalt are the same basic.
I think
Cobalt is a
this
metal,
magnesium
yeah.
though, if it's lighter than if the magnesium's lighter, it's gonna be rad.
Magnesium.
It must be. The thing about magnesium is it's light
soft,
and it's hard, but it's kind of porous,
Right.
and it's kind of chalky to the feel. So I don't know if it seems like they would want
See, that's how the cobalt was though.
to. Yeah.
And it, once you kind of chew through that,
I
it
got you. Yeah.
it polishes it almost.
It polishes itself on the strings.
Because
That's cool.
you doing that forensic stuff, finding all these different things out. You've always been, since I've known you, you've always had the most interesting toys.
We used to in the White House.
You always have some different kind of strange mic that I've never even seen before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I think the last one that I found these guys in Portland called Ear Trumpet Labs, and this guy
Sounds familiar.
he builds capsules and he puts all the capsules into plumbing supplies and stuff you could get at the hardware store, the cases that they come in
What's it called?
Ear Trumpet Labs.
Ear Trumpet.
This dude is making some cool stuff, man. And the last
copper
three
tubing and stuff.
the last 3 little singles
I've
I
seen
did,
these.
I
You've
used
had
his
these for a while.
Yeah, I've been using.
yeah.
I think it's Myrtle's what I have.
Myrtle. Yeah, go to eartrumpetlabs.com
Very cool,
and you can see these mics. Not that
$600.
expensive.
Yeah.
and it sounds great, man. The last 3 cuts that I made, I'll just use that mono, and I just hit play and go, just mono.
Well, and that's another thing that's pretty interesting is, and if anybody, we're gonna play some of your tracks in this record in this episode. We'll probably play one of your bluesy tracks at the end, but you record through these mics that mimic the old mics. You mimic old guitar sounds, but all your records. Do you even pitch them up sometimes?
I have before.
Yeah. You try to capture every bit about that. Sound.
If you play. What's crazy, I have an effect, I wanted to make it sound like an old record. So I have, this box where it's a microphone preamp and it's got an effects loop in it. So I can run any guitar pedal that I have through it. Well, I have a digital pedal that makes it sound.
I'll play
I've got to put you down or something.
Okay.
That's the new one. It's got, that it sounds like a vinyl. It's got all the crackle in it.
It's got the
But
crispies,
It's
yeah.
that microphone.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's just me, one take on the guitar, singing and playing the song.
Okay. I think I might have played that in the Jacob episode.
Maybe so. Yeah,
I forget things.
I do too.
Yeah. I mean, what
And that's my resonator guitar.
makes you want to do that?
I don't
Instead
know,
of
man.
just recording just clean.
I don't know. Like, I want it to sound like
Well, you're an audiophile,
I've
yeah.
always worked backwards the hard way.
No, because you've always had like pristine, good recording gear. You had that Toft audio board,
You know, and I've got a lot of.
But then you recorded all like perfectly, like 192K like sample rate, all this good stuff, and then you
Just tear it up.
crush it.
I'm doing all digital nowadays. I've got rid of a lot of gear, just to buy other gear.
Yeah,
Just like any gearhead. It's very sad.
I'm in the
but,
same boat
that
right
gas.
now.
But, I tell you what, it's like, the way I'm doing it now, I just use a little small digital rig, but like I have, I'll use that microphone running through these effects boxes, and then I just hit the play button. And like in my playback, it sounds like I'm in a tin can record,
Yeah,
like,
so you kind of dialed your rig now.
Yeah, I get that sense of like, this is what I want it to sound like because I love all these guys and their music, and that's like what is on their music is just noise.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful to me, and it just like, I want a song like that.
Yeah.
Like I want a song that like just crushes, my heart like that. I want to do that to other people.
Old reel-to-reel tape.
Well,
field recorder.
tape has a different sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ease of digital, obviously,
It's easier to manipulate,
right?
for sure,
and tape
do
is
whatever you
is
want.
I would love to have it, but I don't want to put up with the maintenance, and I don't want to put up with the stuff like when I record.
Well, it's
on
like
my rig.
you don't want to go to record and then have to reseat
Microphones
a tape
is one
and do
thing,
all
though.
that
I
shit.
would love to have a few different choice microphones, and I have had some nice
Get
ones.
some old RCAs.
No,
or
I would
something.
really like an AEA stereo ribbon mic, and Zito just got an endorsement from Wes Dooley at AEA. He sent us a bunch of mics to do that last record.
So this is
want
kind
one
of
of those.
mutually beneficial. Is he's going to have this sweet gear and you get to use it.
I do get to
It's
use
synergy.
I do, but I would if I can't just like tug his shirt and be like, hey, send us this microphone. Like I would have to pay for it. I don't know
Well,
if
you
I could
could.
get any kind of
Well,
like
no, we do that
discount.
shit. Say, send us free stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
I want that stereo ribbon mic. If I had that and I could put that on drums or like a singer, man, it would make life a lot easier. But hey, man, I like the mono sound too because I can get on a mono mic. I mean, that's what they're doing. They
Right,
just set
right,
up
yeah.
wherever they could set up, and they had a microphone on a stool, and they just
One
hit the
mic,
go
yeah.
button.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just wanted to make some records that sounded like that, and that's
We did a good job.
thank you.
You did a really good job. I mean, I've been listening to you for years. I'm not listening to anything you're going to put out,
Sure.
and I like pretty much all
Same.
of it. When are you gonna
Thank
you gonna get back to doing Dirty Boy Rock anytime soon?
Yes, plan on it. I've been playing a lot of guitar and writing a lot of tunes, and I have all this stuff.
New band,
Yeah, probably.
full band, or
I would like to do a full band.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I've got
exciting.
people that come and play with me sometimes. Some keys and some bass sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're not there yet. But we've been hashing it out for like
well, it's cool to hear.
6 or 7 months now. Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
But something new is going to come out really soon. Like I said, we have all this stuff worked up and kind of like ready to go. There's just like a few little things missing here and there, but.
Yeah, you got to build your set and everything.
Absolutely. Set's already there. Like I was saying, just, a few little loose ends, got to tighten up, but something new is going to happen. It's definitely rock and roll.
Oh,
I
that's
love playing.
exciting.
Like I said, I've been playing a lot of guitar.
I love hearing you play blues. But
Oh, man.
I do
I'd
too.
love to hear you
Yeah.
rock out.
I love rocking it out, man. That's what I began doing,
Are you starting to buy more big amps again? and stuff
No,
like that?
I still like little small amps, but
It changes.
I do. I change. I tend to change stuff, but I'm still working off of some stuff I can actually carry.
Yeah.
But I've been playing a lot of guitar, man.
So we got that to look forward to. That's coming. That's
Yes.
going to be coming out.
It's going to
but-
be rocking. Yes.
But so, what do you have like right now that's out? Anything
Yeah,
you
you
want
got any
to
events coming up
anything you want to pimp? Yeah.
It's
in the next few months?
in the next few months. Well, the next thing I would say I would have recently, Bearlands is playing a set. I think Wes was just in here, right?
Yeah, he was.
Bearlands is
We
playing
just released his episode
Today, yeah.
Awesome, congrats! You guys are killing it.
Yeah.
We're playing the 7th of July at the Log On. I'm playing.
I'll be sure. I need to share that in this post now that I think about it.
I'm gonna play the Log On the 21st again.
So July 7th and July 21st.
Yeah, I think I'm not at Thirsties again until the 28th.
Yeah, Bearlands is so much fun.
It gives me feels. It really does.
Well, they do that. He does that Uncle Tupelo kind of Sunvolt.
You know, it's crazy.
Midwest
Me and Wes, when we were in high school, we used to get mixed up. Like I went to Needleton, he went to P&G, but I've had multiple family members go up to him, and he's had family members come up to me.
Your own family members?
Yeah, thinking because we were both short, we both had long hair in high school.
Yeah.
And I always thought Wes was super cool, you know.
He is cool.
And then we just always, then we just started being friends. It's funny, man. But yeah, he used to have a band in high school called Pro Culture, and I was like, man, they're the coolest band ever. I want to be like that guy. Wes was so cool, man.
He still is. He's still a cool guy.
Still cool.
You're still. I mean, you're a cool guy. All right. So what about like your Bandcamp or anything like that? Where can people?
We find music?
Yeah. Where can we get? Some
Bandcamp. Bandcamp.com. Silas Feemster. Bandcamp.com. I used to have like a website, but I kind of
you slacked off.
Yeah, slacked off on it for a hot minute. So
you
just
get on
been
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook,
I think we need like a vinyl in here. I think
Dude, I'll bring out some vinyls.
Yeah.
I think I have some. I found a stash of my first 45 that I kept. That it was about 20.
Oh,
I saved them back.
It the brown parchment sleeve? I have that. Still.
Yeah.
I still got that.
You signed them. I gave it to my dad.
Yeah.
I'll bring y'all some of those. I think I have my second record.
We're trying to fill up the walls a little bit.
Tapes.
That
I
would
have
be
some
really
tapes
cool.
from the burn pile.
Yeah.
I can bring y'all some T-shirts.
Bring us some shit and sign it, and we'll raffle it off or something.
we all go back, man. We go back to the White House and the garage.
Oh man, we go way back.
And I don't think there would be anything more fitting on our walls than maybe like a framed.
Totally, man.
Feemster record, dude.
I'll bring out some stuff
for sure.
Well, dude, thanks for coming.
Thank y'all for having me.
We've had a great conversation, and this
is a great one.
It took some twists and turns, and we went on a journey of ghosts and old bluesmans and visiting graves and all kinds of cool stuff.
Catching
dude.
up.
I'm really gonna look forward to listening to this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming.
Thank y'all for having me.
Y'all keep an eye out for Mr. Silas Feemster. He's got some new music coming down.
There y'all.
Yeah. Ready?
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. That was episode 33 with Silas Feemster.
33?
Yeah, 33. I'm pretty sure. Check it out again.
Oh, man. We are cranking them out.
We're cranking them out. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this episode. We had a lot of fun. Obviously, he's a good friend of ours. But I dare say we're getting pretty good at this stuff, I think. I don't want to sound boastful.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway.
We've been on a very lax release schedule. So, yeah, let's just not toot our own horns.
We are a little rusty.
Let's just be humble.
Be humble.
You know what else is humble? Fried chicken.
Oh,
and Wednesday, the 29th, Jay Wilson's is having its fried chicken day.
I'll tell you something. Their fried chicken is delicious, too. It must be the brine, the overnight brine I know that they use on the fried chicken, but it is something to behold.
And we will say this is not a sponsor. We're not asked to do that at all. We just wanted to kind of share what things are going on in the community and things that we would like to go see ourselves and possibly eat, and wanted to share that with our friends. Y'all are our friends.
Sure. Absolutely,
you might not be Aaron's friend, but you're my friend.
Hey, they're my. I just don't say I love you, but they're my friends. All right.
You should love your friends, Aaron.
Why you gotta point out my hang-ups on the air like this?
It's a growing experience.
Why you gotta do this to me?
We did this to grow.
Well, anyway, back to the fried chicken. Yeah. Wednesday, the 29th, at Jay Wilson's. Go enjoy Fried Chicken Day. And then for Zach, for myself, for everyone here at A to Z Podcast, thank you guys for listening.